Today we are going to continue the message that we've been learning about for almost 3 weeks, and this is the fourth week. So we've been talking about the Gospel of John when he talks about the miracle that's happened, feeding the 5,000 people, the loaf and the fishes, and all the story that knows. I do not remember when was the last time I preached 4 times on the same chapter from the same gospel. I didn't think that was my choice. It's the lectionary choice. The lectionary is trying to take us on a long journey, maybe to give us the taste of how hard it was for these people to understand what we take today for granted. Yeah, we understand. When Christ is talking about eat my body and drink my blood, that's, every Christian knows what this means. God is not talking about really eating some kind of cannibalism group. He's talking about really something spiritual. Yeah, that's what you and me know today after 2,000 years. So before you blame those who seems like not educated, did not get the point, put yourself in their shoes. They were a good Jew. They know that what make me a good Jew. I did not make an idol like the Egyptians. I came out of the Egyptian culture where everybody worshiped anything, a dog, a cat, a monkeys. And what do? You make a statue, and the statue in front of you is reminding you of what God did. So these Jews, they really came out all the culture around them in Babylon, Assyria, all the area, all the region where the Israelites exist. All these kind of weird things that we think of today, that was the normal practice. That was the way. Even giving a human sacrifice to their gods, that was something exists, where you can actually sacrifice your own child, a daughter or a girl or a boy, to please your God, to stop a curse, or to make the sky open and give a rain to this dry region. So I want you to be in their shoes. When they walk out of Egypt, the Lord told them, you do not make any idols, you do not make any image, any statue. I am your God who is with you wherever you go. And this did not happen overnight. The Jews were struggling. Do not forget when they were in Sinai, what happened? They made a calf of gold, try to see God is here. As far as we can look at these idols and look at this calf, and we know that God is here. But we know that it took many years for the Jews to understand this is not who we are. Yes, our neighbors do that. Our neighbors actually can maybe eat humans and sacrifice human, but God told them God never be pleased when you offer a human or anything like that. So just imagine coming out of a long way of worshiping idol to not worship idols. To human life is easy and can be sacrificed and given for whatever reason. To after many years and after a lot of education and fight with prophets, the Jews understand that we are different. We are different, that we know God is here, and we do not make an image for God to know He's here. We know that human life is very precious, so we do not just sacrifice them for whatever. God do everything to make our life better and not just to destroy it. So imagine coming all of that, and then a guy come after 2,000 years and tells you, you're going to eat my flesh and my blood, and I'm sent from God who gave you the manna. Who will not be shocked to hear that? Who are you first? And second, the message that you are telling us is a very weird message. And Christ is trying to repeat himself in many ways. I am the bread of life. I am the bread of life. I'm the living bread that will make you alive. So, and as John is trying to keep repeating, and as the crowd is getting more really struggling and confused and complaining about everything, And Christ even is not being gentle. He takes it farther and farther. And instead of addressing the crowd, they're thinking about, who is this guy? We know his dad. We know his mom. We know where he came from. How dare he can compare himself to the manna? When Christ shocked them but said, I am the bread who came out of heaven. Let's make a little bit comparison between Christ and what happened in the story in the desert. So when the Israelites left Egypt in the Exodus and went to the desert of Sinai, they were there for 40 years. And many miracles happened with them. And the point was for them, give me another miracle. And God is saying, the miracle is not to make you amazed by what I can do. Every miracle has a reason. God is not a magician. God is not that one sitting on the stage to entertain your desire of, what do you want? Do you want me to light my fingers to you? Do you want me to make a bird coming out of my bucket or whatever? All of these things. That's our limited way as human. And God is saying, when I give you something, when I do something, when I interfere with something in your life, there is a reason. All God's action in our life is not to prove that he is a good guy and he's on the right side. God is interested in you. So when God gives you bread or water or wine or whatever, or light or fire, it's not about the fire. It's not about the bread. It's not about these things that I give you temporary. I give you bread today. You're good. You feel your stomach is full. You are satisfied. You're feeling like you want to take a nap. But what's going to happen again? You're going to go back and get hungry again. What happened with the water? You get the water, makes you satisfied, and then you will get thirsty again. But Christ is saying that, do you have the question said, is there any magic meal that I can have one time and I'll be satisfied forever? Is there any magical liquid thing that I can have one time and I do not need to be afraid of having water or not in the future? But God is trying to say, look what's behind my actions. It's not only about what I give you, but about the message behind it. So the Israelites took in the desert, they needed food. And God gave them one among many miracles. One is called the manna, which means the food that's given from heaven. And God made a choice with them. Said this food will come daily from heaven. You take according to your household. See how many people in your house, how many children, how many women, how many. So you go and get and take according to your needs. Not to tomorrow. You take exactly what you need for today. So what happened? People like you and me, they were afraid. Maybe God will be busy tomorrow, so he will not deliver his food. So what they will do? They will try to take more food. What happened? They take the food, they eat, and satisfied. Whatever food was extra will turn rotten, and nobody can use. So the message for them, is God capable to give them the secret meal to eat, to be fulfilled for 40 years? Yes, God is capable. If he's capable to do all these supernatural things, logically, he's capable to give them one meal to be satisfied for 40 years. Or give them this kind of secret liquids to make them satisfied and not thirsty for 40 years. But the point God wants to teach them to depend on him daily. And trust that tomorrow will come and God is going to be there with the kind of food I need, with the kind of things that I need God to interfere with. How many times we're afraid of tomorrow, or I may get bad news, or maybe I get older and I get weaker, and life is not treating me in well way. But one of the psalmists say that as far as I know that tomorrow is coming with the Lord, and with the permission from the Lord, I do not fear whatever will be in tomorrow. So as far as tomorrow could be a very scary thing. It could be any, from good news to bad news. So to live in the fear of what tomorrow will bring to me, into the freedom of knowing that whatever will happen tomorrow, I will not be alone. Whatever happens tomorrow, God is going to hold my hands. It's not because He's going to give me food and money and health and all of these things. But even when I need someone to cry with, somebody to listen to me, somebody to understand me. So the whole point of all these things that we've been talking about, bread and life and all of these material things, God is saying, I am interested in you as a human being. I'm interested to build a relationship with you. One of the most beautiful things in this, He said, when you come to me and accept me, you abide in me and abide in you. Do not think of just it's a one-way thing. You are waiting to be the recipient. You are waiting to get all God's gifts. But God will say, you want to come be with me, so I gave you the privilege of being my child. But also, you need to follow me and understand. If I give you life, then the life that you have to define is different from anybody else. And this will lead me to this question, to away from all the theology and deep conversation about this complicated chapter, all chapter 6. I want to make it personal for you and me today. And as you see that, one of the titles for the Gospel of John, they call it the Gospel of Life. John is the only gospel that speaks about life at least 36 times. And this is the guy that has many meaning. And if he repeats the word, so when John tells you it was a dark time, he means it. He's not just telling you it's about the day or the night, but he tells you the darkness is a reflection of something is not good is happening. Or if he reflects to. So every word has many meaning and many layers in John's language. So if John is telling us 36 times, this is the gospel. This is the gospel about life. But this will lead me into a question. How can we define life through our own life experience? And if I ask you a question today, say, if I want you to take a moment now, this is an exercise for all of us. I want to take a moment. You're not going to say it out loud. You're going to say it to yourself. Think about it. I want you to think about life and define it with one word in your mind right now. I'll give you just think about it. Take a moment. Define life with one word. Here's the second question. Whatever answer you have, just keep it for yourself, okay? How did you define this life? Did you define it in the light of others? Did you define it in the light of what you are hearing now from the Bible? Or did you define life in the light of your own life journey? And again, do not answer me. Keep it for yourself. So first, define what life is with one word. And then the second question, say, where did I get my definition? Is it a reflection of my own life? Is it a reflection of what people taught me what life is? Is it a reflection from what the Bible told me what life should be? And whatever the answer was, I hope that you were answering this question about what life is in the light of your own life stories. How many times we define life in the way we wish people they like to hear. Life is good, life is beautiful, life is fair, all these positive things that everybody wants to hear. But is this really your true definition of life? If you are talking honestly with yourself and with your God. Or did you define life in the light of others? That's what I heard about life. It's like, as they say, that as people take many pictures, and we live in the age of all the fake things that we live today, you know? People just post the way they eat on Facebook or whatever. I'm an old school, so the only farthest I know is Facebook, but I know there are millions of apps more updated and more better than Facebook, you know? And people are just forgetting to live in the moment because they're so busy about to put picture where they are on the beach or somewhere that's so beautiful. They're so occupied about how to define the moment in the eyes of others. And not to define the moment is, they are missing actually. They are sitting on the ocean. They are not having any idea how to enjoy the fresh air in the ocean because they're so busy about the best selfie they can take to broadcast it somewhere else. They forgot even to know that they have a child sitting next to them or a partner or somebody that is supposed to enjoy because they're so busy about defining life according to others. So the life that Christ is interested in is not the fake one, is not the perfect one, is not the ideal one. Is a life that came from your own life story, from your own journey. The definition of life that is capable to be modified. The definition of life that has an open end. The definition of life that's more sincere and not perfect, but it's not honest. One of the research when they did some of the psychological studies on many people, and they used this about the definition of life. And the surprise that many people define life in the form of big sea or ocean. It was very interesting that when they start to ask people, why did you pick ocean? Why the image of ocean came to your mind when you thought about life? And the answer is very different. So one person said, I picked the ocean because it's so big. You cannot figure out, as you look and you stand on the ocean, you cannot figure out how far. As far as you can see, you are limited, and you know there are more things that you cannot see behind. And one person said, I define it as the ocean because it's so deep and scary. And one person said, I define it life because what I live right now is feeling like a turmoil. It feels like a storm. That when you see a storm, maybe when you are in the sea, when you are on the earth, you have a lot of things to do, even when it's storm time. But in the sea, you lose most of all your power, even from a simple thing as being capable to catch something or walk or being able. So it's really the image was a fear, about fear of being in an ocean. All these definitions, none of them is wrong or right, but they're reflecting on what stage that we are living in. And as God is talking to us today through this image, when he starts with a big show, 5,000 people out of little fish and loaves, they were satisfied, happy, and even leftover was there. And then John take it further and talk about Christ and Moses and compare them and say Christ is the gift and the giver. Christ is the manna. And many times in this life that we really, when God gave us something or someone, we forgot the message and we hold on the messenger. We almost worship Moses and we forgot who sent Moses. We being amazed by the manna, a food coming out of heaven for free and fresh and come down and we eat. And to the point where we start almost to worship the material itself, the manna, and we forgot who is capable to do that. Who is capable to send us a fresh meal to fulfill our needs every day. So that many times that gave us many things in this life, and we turn it into idols. How many peoples in the Christian faith, like Paul, Peter, or Mary, they become almost like little gods. And the point is, they're not supposed to block the source of grace between us and Christ. They are the one just putting the flashlight on us so we can see. But they are not the light. It's good to honor all of these people from the day one, even from Judaism to Christianity to today. But do not forget, they are not the one that you should put your eyes on them. So it's God saying that I am the bread that came down from heaven, and they were so offended. Because Christ, when he talks about that, he put himself in the same category like the manna. And they were so offended because the manna became little God. How dare you can compare yourself to the manna? And God started to draw a very interesting, logical, spiritual conclusion when say, this is not the kind of manna I'm talking about. Yes, I'm talking about bread, but not really the bread that you put in the oven and you get it from the flour and all of this. I'm talking about different bread. When I talk about the water, you are thinking about the water that makes you filled and satisfied. I'm talking about something different. So this is what the gospel is trying to tell us. Say, many times you try to have your own definition of who God is. But are you capable to listen when God tells you, you are wrong, and here is who I am? And this is one of the best gospel when you see the I ams of Jesus is all over the gospel of John. I'm the bread, the life, the truth, the good shepherd, the door, the sheep's door, the light of the world. You go on and on. It's all about I am. And when he appeared when he appeared to these disciples who were threatened by the storm, Christ did not do anything except said, I am. I'm here. Listening to his voice, knowing that his presence in our life, that is enough. Anything else will be a gift. Either to stop the storm or to protect you from my fear. Either to give me healing of my own sickness, or to give me the strength to go through this life and have the strength to go even with the sickness that I am going through. So Christ is Emmanuel, is God with us. And this is the greatest gift. The bread, the health, the money, whatever you are dreaming of that you think if you get it, you will be happy and satisfied. And God is telling you, friends, children, you are wrong. If I give you the whole resources in the whole world, you will still need something. If you gain the whole world, you'll still find there is a hole in your heart and your mind. And that's why God is telling to them, I am the true thing that you need to buy. You didn't need to work very hard. You didn't need to climb mountains. Simply believe. Simply do not talk about the bread all your life. Do not take a picture next to a bread. Do not advertise the bread. Do not look and say, look how beautiful the bread is. There is nothing like you. Did you taste the bread? Did you try to eat it? So God is trying to take us into this level. When you are taking the communion, when you come and share a meal with me, you became part of me, and I'm part of you. Whatever else will happen in the future, do not care, because we'll be together.